Water issues are still causing problems for people in the mountains in several counties. What one provider says started the issue in Harlan County. Plus, how a recent Supreme Court ruling is putting pressure on lawmakers to address the migrant crisis at the border.
Plus, we could see some 60s by Wednesday and Thursday. The details on above average weather coming up as Mountain News First at 4 continues.
Mountain News First at 4 continues.
Several people are without water in one part of Harlan County. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox is in Bledsoe with the latest.
Some have gone days, some have gone weeks without running water. Community members are having to use as many water bottles as they can if they can get out of the snow and ice to get it. Crystal Pennington from Bledsoe says people are struggling without it.
They need water. A lot of people has kids, and they have to go to work, so they need water. You know, they have pets, you know, stuff like that.
Pennington also runs a business here in Bledsoe. She says cannot open without water. I'll have more on that at 6. In Bledsoe, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
The Black Mountain Utility District currently services several people in that area. They say the water issue started after a power outage. We also continue to follow the water issues in Perry County as well. The extreme cold is causing problems in the water distribution system. Hazard's mayor says between Thursday and Saturday, the city had 22 water main line breaks. Around 2,000 people have been without water since Saturday. That's why Paul Holland is having his pickup truck filled up with cases of bottled water. He says a lot of his neighbors are without water too, and they need help getting supplies.
Well, it's kind of discomfort, but a lot of people, a lot of kids and stuff, it's a big discomfort.
It's not clear exactly when the situation will be resolved. We're told it has improved a little bit today, but when everyone does get their water back on, there will be a boil water advisory.
We are tracking some overcast conditions and above average temperatures on this Tuesday. Also watching out for a few sprinkles as well. Here's a live look across the mountains, and as you can see, not much happening for most of us. We are cloudy, and those temperatures also above average on this Tuesday afternoon. Up on first alert pinpoint Doppler, we are watching out for a few spotty sprinkles in the Cumberland Valley, zooming into McCreary County, also into Wayne and Pulaski counties as well. A few spotty sprinkles there, and same story close to I-64 over in Rowan County, close to Moorhead at this hour. Those current temperatures, most of us in the 50s right now, up to 54 in Pikeville, 55 in Jackson, 54 in Somerset. So some of us, or most of us, about 10 degrees above average on this Tuesday, and that above average weather will also continue on Wednesday and Thursday. We could see highs close to or above 60 degrees by Thursday. But as we go into this evening, we do stay cloudy, also cool, not terribly cold, but those lows back in the upper 30s and lower 40s as you wake up on Wednesday. And again, we are watching out for an increase in those rain chances by Wednesday, also on Thursday. And another system is looming by Saturday. Those details coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Cameron, thank you. The CBS family, along with millions of viewers and radio listeners, are mourning the loss of a legendary broadcasting voice. Charles Osgood died today. Osgood anchored CBS Sunday Morning for 22 years and was host of the long-running radio program, The Osgood File. He spent 45 years at CBS News before retiring in September 2016. His family says the cause of death was dementia. Osgood was 91 years old. A Supreme Court ruling is putting added pressure on lawmakers to pass an immigration plan. Amy Kiley has this update on their progress.
It's not only affecting the communities here, it's affecting the people into the interior of the United States.
The Supreme Court is letting Border Patrol remove razor wire along part of the Rio Grande. It's from Operation Lone Star, a Texas initiative to stop migrants from crossing into the U.S. A new report says that effort has cost about $10 billion over the past 3 years.
Your schools everywhere in Texas need this kind of attention. Roads all through Texas need attention, our hospitals, our infrastructure.
We're here under the governor's order in order to protect Texas.
The Biden administration is suing Texas to stop its border efforts. It argues immigration is a federal matter, so the new ruling puts more pressure on Congress to address the crisis.
America's national security begins with securing and maintaining our borders.
Senate negotiators are working on a border security bill. They say a sticking point is how to pay for it. Another issue is that House Republicans are pushing for Trump-era border policies. Some say they won't compromise with Senate Democrats.
We're not there yet, but we'll keep going.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
The survivors of last year's mass shooting in Louisville and the families of the victims are suing the gun shop that sold the weapon that was used in the massacre. 5 people were killed when a gunman opened fire on April 10th at Old National Bank. The civil suit alleges that River City Firearms ignored warning signs when the shooter purchased an AR-15 style rifle 6 days before the mass shooting.
Licensed firearm dealers like River City are instructed by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives that they are the first line of defense in preventing firearms from falling into the wrong hands, and that they should not proceed with suspicious sales.
Lawyers for the family say there was a witness in the store that saw the shooter acting abnormal. That person says it was clear the man had no experience with guns, appeared embarrassed, and spoke in an unusually quiet tone. A manhunt for the suspect in an Illinois killing spree came to a violent end in Texas. Police say 23-year-old Romeo Nance was found by U.S. Marshals near the town of Natalia, nearly 1,200 miles from the Illinois crime scenes. Authorities say Nance took his own life after a confrontation with law enforcement officers. Police in Illinois say 8 people were murdered Monday in 3 separate locations, and the crime scenes were hard to process.
I've been a policeman 29 years. This is probably the worst crime scene I've ever been associated with.
Police initially thought the shootings were random, but the suspect's car was spotted at both scenes. They now think Nance knew the victims and was possibly related. The investigation obviously ongoing. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin made his first appearance since being hospitalized over complications related to treatment for prostate cancer. Appearing from his home, Austin delivered remarks at a virtual meeting of the Ukraine Defense Contact Group, where he reiterated his support for the country. The meeting comes as Congress continues to debate a national security supplemental aid package, which would contain funding for Ukraine.
Putin continues to sacrifice staggering numbers of Russian troops in his rash and reckless war of choice. And Putin hopes that missiles and drones will demoralize the Ukrainian people and break the fighting spirit of the Ukrainian military. So I urge this group to dig deep to provide Ukraine with more life-saving ground-based air defense systems and interceptors.
Austin has been working remotely from home after being released from the hospital on January 15th. A number of investigations have been launched into why the White House and lawmakers were not notified about his hospitalization right away. Coming up on First at 4, the critically acclaimed movie Barbie set box office records, but its star and director snubbed at today's Oscar nominations. We'll have a look at the nominees.
Plus, we are tracking some wet weather for the middle of this week, and some of the rain could be heavy. Those details coming up after this break.